What's up guys, Techmaster back with another video. So I just uploaded my Apple Watch Ultra 2 week later review, and now we're going to be doing a comparison with just the Apple Watch lineup in late 2025. So we have the Apple Watch Series 11, the SE3, and the Ultra 3. So I'll change to black. So going over some of the differences. So the SE is obviously the cheapest at $249 for GPS, and then $299 for GPS and cellular. We have the Series 11 at $399 for GPS and $499 for GPS and cellular. And you can obviously get a titanium one and all that for way more expensive, like $700 something, although I probably wouldn't do that. And then we have the Apple Watch Ultra 3 at $800, but this one automatically comes with GPS and cellular, and you can activate it through your phone, all that kind of thing. So in terms of the casing, the Ultra is obviously massive in comparison. We have a 49mm case. It's a beefy watch, so if you have small wrists and you don't like the small size, you will not like the Ultra if you hate bigger watches, to put it simply. The SE obviously has the smallest case at 40mm and 44mm, and the Series 11 is slightly bigger at 42mm and 46mm. In terms of the display, the Ultra has the LTPO3, so, and actually the Series 11 does too. The Series 11 also has lower brightness compared to the Ultra, 2000 nits versus 3000. The Ultra obviously has the biggest display, and it has 3000 nits brightness, super nice outside. And then the SE has the older LTPO regular OLED 1000 nits brightness, but this watch does get the always on display and just some general nicer features compared to previous versions. So if you don't want the highest end display or you don't really care, this SE is going to be more than good enough. We have the new hypertension feature this year. The SE does not have hypertension, ECG, blood oxygen, etc. So if you need those features, don't get the SE. Sleep tracking, all of them have this. There is the new sleep apnea notifications if you have it. There's vitals, all these watches have it, temperature sensing, emergency SOS. The Ultra now gets all these satellite features like emergency SOS via satellite, which actually will be really nice because that's just like iPhone unless you have satellite through Starlink or something like that. The Apple Watch Ultra also has a siren, so it can send out a siren during emergencies. If you're walking in the dark or someone's following you or whatever, something that should be alerted, then that siren will be useful. We have water resistance. The Ultra is certified scuba diving and that kind of thing. It can go up to 40 meters. It can actually go down to 100, but Apple doesn't really want you to go that low. They recommend 40. All the new watches have 5G this year, and the Apple Watch Ultra has cellular and satellite, so you can text via satellite and use that satellite thing. There's also precision dual frequency GPS, and this watch will get better cellular service. A lot of people have pointed that out due to its bigger size and antennas and all that. So if you want the best overall cellular connection, then the Ultra is going to be the best one for here. They all have the S10 chip, and now battery life, this is definitely a big difference for the different versions. So the SE3 gets 18 hours. I have not found my SEs to previously get through the day. This does have fast charging now, but if you do want longer battery life, a little bit longer, get the 11, although it still will need to be charged after a day and a half. The Ultra is substantially better. This one, as I said, I just upgraded to the Ultra. I lost 25% in over 24 hours, so this is definitely a 3.5, 4-day watch. So if you care about battery life, the Ultra is still going to be far substantial to the others. And yeah, so all these different materials. So obviously we can get the Series 11 in titanium and all that. But again, I do think the Ultra is so close in price to the Series 11 once you upgrade the materials and all that. So I would just get the Ultra at that point. I don't think the titanium Series 11 makes any sense. And the Hermes bands are obviously $1,300, $1,500, which is kind of obscene, and absolutely not even worth looking at. All these have similar features here. Again, the SE doesn't have all these new health features like blood oxygen, hypertension, that kind of thing. All these do have 5G and LTE, and for people that don't know, these watches use a called 5G RedCap. It's a slower version compared to iPhone, but it's specifically designed to help with efficiency. So that's why all these Apple Watches have better battery life. So again, it's slower than iPhone 5G, but it is still pretty fast. I believe up to 250 megabits per second, which literally for doing anything on your Apple Watch is going to be perfect. And obviously compared to regular cellular on old watches, it's going to be much better, and it's not going to eat away million of your battery and all that kind of thing. That is something to keep in mind. And especially for kids, for families, now that these watches have 5G, the connection is going to be so much better, especially if you're getting T-Mobile or AT&T, because T-Mobile especially has the largest 5G network. Basically, if you're going to be getting this watch for your kids without a phone, it's going to be so much better than previous years. And then emergency SOS, we have that. That's pretty much the exact same thing. And battery life, again, it's going to be kind of similar. And again, the Apple Watch Ultra does charge faster than before. It's not the full 30 minutes and all that, but that kind of thing. So what's my opinion? I do think overall, I think if this is going to be your first watch and you're getting it for a kid, get the SE3. Normally, I wouldn't recommend the SEs, but they fixed a lot of the problems. They added 5G, the always on display, and all that other stuff is good. The chip's up to date. I do think this is going to be a really good watch, especially for the majority who don't really care about the highest end features. The Series 11 is kind of a little bit harder. I know some people's opinion might be different. I feel like this one got the least amount of upgrades. I do think, especially if you're going to spec out a Series 11, get the bigger size aluminum with cellular. The thing's like, it's still less expensive than the Ultra, but I think if you want a more pro watch and you're coming from any older version, if you're actually coming from an older series watch, I do think the Ultra you're definitely getting a more pro experience, especially if you're coming from a reasonably recent watch, even a Series 7 or 8. I just don't think getting the 11 makes a lot of sense. I just feel like this watch has stayed the same for a while. Nothing's been substantial. The Ultra, it's the same too, but there's actually really some nice benefits like long battery, crazy long battery life, faster charging, satellite connectivity, better connection, cellular, all these different things people with previous Ultras aren't going to be upgrading. But I just find the really nice features you get with the Ultra that are exclusive. And I just feel like the Series 11 is literally identical to the 10, just with a couple new features like 5G and all that kind of thing. So basically, I'm not saying don't buy the Series 11, but I genuinely feel like if you're going to spec the Series 11 out in any way, then I would say get the Ultra, because it's not going to be a crazy amount more expensive at that point. Especially if you're getting the titanium, that makes absolutely no sense. And again, if you're speccing out the Series 11 to the bigger size and cellular, it's not going to be crazy. If you're getting the base version, then it's still going to be cheaper. But point is that I do think for the majority, I do think the SE is going to be better. I just think it just has most of the things the 11 has, unless you specifically care about those health features. I think it's going to be better for the majority unless you want to get a more premium watch like the Ultra. That's just my opinion. I know you guys might be different, but I do think the Ultra 3 is definitely worth it. Obviously, most people don't really like the size and don't think it's necessary for the price tag, but I think from a feature perspective and all the new convenient, really nice features like iPhone, like the satellite connectivity, like satellite texting could be really good for most, especially if your area has bad cell service and all. That could be really good. So anyway, that's kind of my opinion, and I'll see you guys in the next one.